Here we go. Stand by, please. Rolling on 6. On
You're
6.
quite good.
Yeah, here we go. Welcome to a new episode of the Celebrity Archaeology Podcast, sponsored in part by the Built on Dreams Media Network and contributions from listeners like you. I'm your host, Adam Scull. If this is the first time listening to the podcast, welcome. If you're a returning listener, thanks for coming back. Our goal is to preserve the cultural heritage of celebrity photography from decades past for the benefit of future generations. Pull up a comfortable chair, hang out with us, and have a great time reminiscing about your favorite stars. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. The cover art for this episode, it's The Piano Man and The Piano Man photographed in 1977, otherwise known as Billy Joel and Jerry Lee Lewis. There is plenty to say about Jerry Lee Lewis, the killer, who broke ground during the early days of rock and roll. He turned the piano into a rock and roll instrument for the first time and entertained while playing with his foot on the keyboard. Chuck Berry refused to perform on stage with him after he set his piano on fire. "I want to see you follow that, Chuck," he reportedly said to him at the time. Jerry Lee was signed to a 5-year record contract with Sam Phillips' Sun Records label in Memphis, Tennessee. He was part of a group that was referred to as the $1 Million Quartet. Although they did not perform together, the quartet consisted of Elvis Presley, Carl Perkins, Johnny Cash, and Jerry Lee was legendary in churning out hit after hit in a new genre called rock and roll. He got his first big break on Steve Allen's Plymouth TV show in 1957 when he performed Whole Lotta Shakin' Going On. Later, Lewis's Great Balls of Fire would turn out to be one of the world's best-selling singles of all time. Jerry Lee was born in Ferriday, Louisiana. He married for the first time at age 17. He tied the knot a second time before the first divorce was final, but it was his third shocking marriage that would land him on the front pages all over the world. Soon after signing the Sun Records contract, Jerry married Myra Gale Brown, the 13-year-old daughter of his cousin, which made her his first cousin once removed. No one accepted this arrangement on either side of the pond, and it was almost the end of his career. His records were banned from the radio, and Dick Clark dropped him from appearing on his TV show. All would be forgiven and forgotten. All would be forgiven and forgotten when in 1986, Jerry Lee was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Lewis would end up marrying for a 7th time, but mysterious deaths of 2 wives and tragedies of 2 of his children would haunt him. He has been married to wife number 7, Judith, since 2012. The father of 6 children, Jerry Lee lost his son, Stephen Allen Lewis, at age 3 after a swimming pool drowning. Another son, Jerry Lee Lewis Jr., died at age 19 when his Jeep overturned. Lewis's 4th wife also drowned in a swimming pool accident weeks before their divorce became final, and wife number 5 died mysteriously after only 77 days of marriage. Jerry Lee was never charged in any of these incidents. Jerry Lee got into deep financial problems with the IRS and also sought treatment at the Betty Ford Clinic for pill addiction. "I ain't no goody-goody," he said, "and I ain't no phony. I never pretended to be anything, and anything I ever did, I did it wide open as a case knife. I lived my life to the fullest, and I had a good time doing it, and I ain't never wanted to be no teddy bear." The Bronx-born, Levittown, New York-raised Billy Joel was a reluctant rock star. "I don't look like a rock and roll star," he told Details. "I look like the guy who delivers the pizza." Piano became his life after he was introduced to it at an early age by his classical pianist father. At age 16, he played piano on the Shangri-La's recording of The Leader of the Pack. Billy's first solo album, titled Cold Spring, was not the hit he was planning on, so he packed up and moved to LA and became a lounge pianist. It was this job that would inspire his famous song Piano Man. Billy's list of memorable songs includes such favorites as We Didn't Start the Fire, Uptown Girl, Levittown, New York State of Mind, and It's Still Rock and Roll to Me. In 1999, Billy was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. In 2013, he received the Kennedy Center honor. I never wanted to be an oldies act, but I suppose I am, he said. I never wanted to be a nostalgia act, but I suppose I am. But I listened to Beethoven, and that's really old stuff. Is that nostalgia? To me, that music is as alive as it ever was. Billy has been married 4 times. He divorced his first wife, Elizabeth Weber, in 1982. She had been the wife of the drummer in his band. In 1982, the diminutive Billy married leggy supermodel Christy Brinkley. Their marriage would produce daughter Alexa Ray, named after the musician Ray Charles. His third wife was celebrity chef and TV personality Katie Lee. They had a 32-year age difference between them. Finally, in 2015, Billy married Alexis Roderick. They have 2 children together, daughters Della Rose and Remy Ann. His biography revealed that he survived 2 suicide attempts, but these days he's doing well, back on stage at large venues and rocking with the best of them. Thanks for joining me today on the Celebrity Archaeology Podcast. I hope you have found the content I've shared memorable and enjoyable. Be sure to visit celebrityarchaeology.com to see many of our photos and pick up the link to the podcast. Love this episode of the podcast? Head over to iTunes to subscribe so you can always keep up to date on the latest episode. Rate and leave a review and tell your friends about the podcast. Join us next time for the Celebrity Archaeology Podcast and learn about the lives of your favorite celebrities.